Hello, this is Dr. Will Horton, and I'm going to get to deliver today a very important message, one of my favorites, because I've never done this. It's a secret reveal, how to impact the world with your message. You all have special messages. Every person that listens to this has a unique talent, ability, and skill. No one can do what you are put here to do. So only you can carry that message, right? Well, I'm Dr. Will Horton. I'm a psychologist, and I'm the world's leading NLP trainer. So what would happen if you could get your message out to the world and impact those that really need it? Well, it's no secret that many people have great messages they wish to share with the world. Maybe a niche market within the world, a select subgroup, battered women or substance abusers, whatever the message. You have, you got it and you want to get it out there. And they have passion and desire to do it. And they try to share their unique message, but usually it falls on deaf ears and it never really catches fire, right? Here's some more secrets. Martin Luther King was not the first preacher to speak for or about civil rights, right? Tony Robbins did not invent NLP, nor teach it differently at first. He does now, and he's changed it, but that was his start, right? Zig Ziglar was not the first sales trainer, right? Even though he says he was born a salesman. And of course, Deepak Chrora was not the first medical doctor to speak of health. But each one of these impacted the world in a different way. Some more specifically, more niche market, sales or self-help, medical, civil rights. But it rippled out into the bigger picture world, if you will, right? But each one was not the first. But they just did it slightly differently. So here's what is tried. Here's what I tried and what other people do, right? Taking public speaking courses. You study NLP. You mentor with the big names. You try modeling techniques. You pay for marketing, right? You trust others with your message. I've done this one, right? Here's why it didn't work. Throughout history, those that are able to share their passion, strength, and hope can and will inspire millions. It may start small, and maybe it's only a few thousand. Remember, one of the greatest speakers in history, one that impacted the world more in the Western world more than anyone, only started with 12 close people, right? However, it seems like the ability to do this is a closely guarded secret. And many people who do manage to break through really can't share with you how they did it. They're the thinker. They can't tell you how they think the thoughts. What makes them, right? And those that say they can really may not understand this, right? And some more why it didn't work. Let's face it, the powers that be will stifle and block others who try to break through. I mean, you know this, right? And then also not understanding how to deliver your message, right? And also how to tweak your message at the last minute for the right group, right? And then, of course, they try the incorrect use of modeling, right? But I want you to have hope. Have hope, ladies and gentlemen. It's not your fault. You may have the idea, but no one has shown you how to do it. You have a dream, but it's not your fault you haven't accomplished it yet. And those that say they can help you usually want to stifle you or steal your message. They may have a vested interest in keeping you down. You think they want you to succeed, but do they? So here's what I want you to do in 6 steps if you want to do this, right? Number 1, know your message and sharpen it, right? So your message is razor sharp and yet flexible enough that you can bend it when you go to slightly different groups, right? Know your target. Who is your first target market? Who are you taking it to? Who can use it and who can want it? Then you have to understand how to deliver it so they can really grasp it and eat it, right? Then you have to understand the correct use of modeling. Most people don't understand modeling, and they're messing it up when they try it. Then you have to know how to lead an organization, a group, whatever it is that you're doing, a cult. You have to know how to lead. And you need an outside eye and ear to sharpen your message. So step 1, what is your message? What is your unique message? What is your unique selling proposition if you're using that? What's your special proposition? Why? What is your message? right? What is it you want to share with the world? Why you? Why are you the best person to do this, you know? And there may be other people, but why you? That's what's important, right? And also realizing that when the people are listening, you're doing all these things, but you got to also bear in mind what's in it for me. That's what your audience is thinking consciously and subconsciously. Step 2, who is your target audience? What are they? Who are they? Where are they? What do they need? So you know what their needs that you're trying to fulfill, but more importantly, what do they want? You start giving them their wants, and you bury their needs inside of their wants, and then they'll do them. Give them their wants, then their needs, and they're much more likely to take it. And then, of course, use rapport. Right? Step 3, know how to correctly deliver information. Subconscious training. Keep some secrets. This is one of my weak points. Is I share too much too early. Right? You got to keep dangling the answer in front of people. Right? You give them, you spoon feed them. Right? I mean, a baby can't eat a steak. It has to have baby food, right? So that's what we have to focus on. Subconscious skills. Emotional impact, right? A good story would be in 1988, Bill Clinton gave the keynote address at the Democratic National Convention. It was horrible, right? It was, wasn't very good. It was policy. It was long. It was very technical. It was kind of like, oh my God, give me a pencil to poke in my ear. Right? What happened? 3 years later, he comes back running for president. And he's different. Why? He learned how to have an emotional impact. And giving people, going back to what we said before, giving them their wants, bearing their needs in there. Right? Then he impacted the world. You have to know hot buttons. Yeah, you have to know those hot buttons. And then you have to know the big 5. If you do these 5 basic things, you get people to follow you. Right? And it's really cool information. Step 4, pick your model carefully. In your field, if there's a model you can kind of follow, but if there is, well, if they're already doing your message, yours has to be different. So you have to realize, you know, it's got to be different. The world doesn't need another Tony Robbins. The world doesn't need another Deepak Chrora. The world needs you, right? So who do you want to model? And maybe you need to step outside of your box and look at other people to model, right? This is a failing most people have if they're trying to really take their message out to the world. And then you have to think about who's your model's model. If there's somebody in your field you really admire, who do they model? Who do they model? You know, if they don't have a model, you should run, right? If your mentor doesn't have a mentor, I would run away. If your coach doesn't have a coach, yeah, that's bad, right? So who's your model? You know, who is that? And have you ever heard of Werner Erhard? He's the guy that did AR seminar training, EST, back in the 70s. Now it's the Forum, all right? Been around forever. Why do I ask that? Well, when you look at one of the people I mentioned, Anthony Robbins, I'm not sure if it's true or not, but when he really started to break out, he built his whole empire based on a different model than the traditional NLP. I'm going to train people, train therapists. They'll take it out and we'll just keep building it. He did it much different. It became much more EST-like. I don't know if that's true, but when standing back, that makes sense, right? There was always another level. There was the inner groups. There were the outer groups. There was, you know, people pay to be with him. You know, it's kind of fascinating, right? So you need to go back and maybe start to model some people you've never heard of because they did some wonderful things, right? And who are their models, right? And then we have the Arnold Schwarzenegger dilemma. People say they want to get in shape. I want to look like, well, I'll go back a few years when Arnold was at his peak, right? I want to look like Arnold. Well, that's great. We can do that. But you're not going to, you can't start where he's at. You can't do his workout. First, your body's not ready for it. Secondly, it's not built up to the point where it can stand it, right? So, wow, you know, you want to get, and then people go, I can't do it, I quit. Though this is Arnold's workout. That's why I laugh at those muscle magazines. Here's so-and-so's arm routine. Well, and you go and do it, it kills you or it doesn't work. Well, because A, that's his, and B, they're farther along. People want to model Anthony Robbins. I want to be in front of 5,000 people in a stadium. Great. Do you have a 300-person sales force? that can make the phone calls, right? Do you have a network of that he has, you know, the people that come and help him, his assistants and whatever he calls them, right? Right? No. So you're trying to model something way beyond where you're at. You have to go back. Where were they at when they started? How did Arnold start? What was his first workouts, right? What did he do to get up to where he's at? What did Tony Robbins do? What did Deepak do? You have to back up, right? And then you have to know how to model what. This is what's getting into why people don't do modeling right. Right? They just do the behavior sometimes. They don't, I've seen some of the people that do this, they don't even get into the beliefs and the attitudes, right? What makes them them. Step 5, know how to lead a group, an organization, a cult. And I'll throw cult in there. It upsets some people. But when you look at a strong brand, it's cult-like. Apple Computer, Harley Davidson, Corvettes, Porsche. The people love it, right? It's different than just a group. Oh, I'm a member of a group. No, I'm in. I'm a 1%er if you're a Harley guy, right? Whatever it happens to be, right? So you have to understand that. You have to know how it works, how to lead it, how to build it, what it is. And then a lot of that has to do with initiation or instruction. You know, there's a lot of times you're instructing. That's what I do. I don't do a lot of initiation. This is going to be an initiation training, right? But it's different, right? Step 6, you need an outside eye and ear. Let me give you a theater example. When I'm directing a show, and I am this week, in fact, this last week of rehearsals, we have 2 tech rehearsals next week with an audience, and we open next Wednesday. But tonight I have someone coming to watch my show, and they directed, they've been in shows forever. They have no vested interest in my show. They're coming and they're going to take notes. They're going to give me detailed notes. They're an outside eye and ear. Will I incorporate everything they said? Nope, it's my show. But I'm blind to what's going on, right? Situational blindness. I'm in it, right? I can't see it because it's been going on in front of me every day, you know? And I'll probably have someone else come later in the week, look at it and go, oh, I see what you're doing, but try this, this, and this. You know, when I was doing those Stop Smoking seminars, Elsa Meldridge, a mentor of mine, came in, watched one thing, suggested one change. It did. I know it upped my sales 15 or 20%. That one little thing that I've been doing, I was doing great, but he just saw it for the first time. Says, "You ever tried this?" Oh, great, right? So why not take it from people that know what they're doing, right? So let's do it. Let me give you an example. There's a couple of groups in the United States that train people. Let's just say there's 5, right? And they all do the same thing. They take people from what I'd call a blank slate and train them up to go do specific jobs within their organization to build an organization. Great. Now, each one is very good at what they do. And they go after certain people and they build it and they do very, very well. Now, and what's interesting, and this can take anywhere from a few weeks, 6, 8 weeks, up to, 13, 14 weeks. Then they go do advanced training so they get specialized. Now, the people that get the advanced training are the ones that have unique skill sets, and they know how to find out who has what skill set, so they put people in the right thing. Great. Now, when I speak of these things, they're all great, and they all have wonderful outcomes. But what's the difference? Well, there's one of these groups, and the group I'm speaking of, these groups are the United States military, the Army, the Navy, the Air Force, the Marine Corps, and the Coast Guard. Each one trains people up quite well. Each one has specific skill sets. But there's only one that has a loyalty factor that's off the chart. There's only one that still has that once a Marine, always a Marine, right? Yeah, you get a few people, they go and they do their 4 years, they leave, they don't really think about it. But then you got the others, they got the license plates, they fly the flags, they have the bumper stickers. They're the ones once a Marine, always a Marine. Why? It's different. They do more initiation training. They make it harder to get in. And they're the only one that every person in the Marine Corps is an infantryman, right? If you were a cook, a pilot, whatever you do, you're still an infantryman. And you still review your basic infantry skills constantly in the Marine Corps, right? And they had a lot of physical training, right? Because they're the Marines, right? They make it difficult. They make it different. They're proud to be different, right? If you're not one of them, they don't care, right? So what's interesting, right? So if you're going to model, look at what they do. They do it a little bit differently than everybody else, and they install that loyalty. And they also, some of the best subconscious trainers I've ever seen. So, what did we just did was we looked at the idea of power and what can be done. You can shape people in a way that changes them forever, right? And then along the way, you create a core group of loyal followers, if one knows how. Not many people do. So here's what I want you to have. 6 results, right, in the 6 steps. Number 1, a clear message, razor sharp, but flexible enough to bend to where you want it so it can still cut in. Know your target audience, your first target audience, and then where it can ripple out from there. Deliver for impact. Correct use of modeling. Leadership. How to do what when. Know when to initiate, know when to instruct, know when to take away, right? And you really need a world-class mentor. So introducing a secret revealed. Here's what a secret revealed is. I believe this is the best course on getting your message to the world ever. Why? It's different than anything else you've seen available today. Well, first of all, you have your unique talents, abilities, and skills. I revel in that. I celebrate your unique skills. I always tell people, go where you're celebrated, not where you're tolerated. Right? It's why I've left some organizations, and why some organizations treat me different. I don't stay where I'm not celebrated. I don't need to be tolerated. Now, I have a unique skill set. Sounds like a scene from Taken. I spent my life gathering a unique set of skills, right? And I never really figured out what they were all for, right? First, I was an addiction counselor, right? First I was in the military. I liked it. Had some issues with it. Then I was in theater, professional actor, loved it, had some issues. And then I became an addiction counselor, which fixed the problems why I lost the other 2. But I understand, like theater, I understand the military mindset, and I understand theater, presentation, acting, how to get your message out, because it's all about presentation in theater and any kind of acting. Then, as an alcohol and drug counselor, I understand the addictive mind. What's addictive, what's not addictive. Now I understand even how it works with neurology. The neurochemical pathways of it. Why is this important? Well, you want people addicted to your message, those that need it. Why? That's how they be. That's what make Apple Computer. Why did I buy an iPhone 6 instead of a Droid when all my friends were, Droid's much better, even other people. Well, I'm an Apple guy. There's some loyalty there, right? I'm addicted to it. You have to understand that. There's nothing wrong with that, right? Well, I liked Harley when I had my motorcycles, right? I just bought a little car that, it's a long story, but, it's different. And I see why people get addicted to it, right? It's different, right? This is what's important. So, and then, of course, a clinical psychologist. I understand more than just the NLP skills. Now, as a clinical psychologist, I didn't just buy a degree where I'd call myself doctor, like 90% of the people out there in NLP and hypnosis, to be honest with you. I did the hard work. I did the 2,500-hour internship, not counting my other 500-hour clinical rotation, all the things. Took my national boards, my state tests. I'm licensed. I did all of that, right? So that gives me some special insight, right? And I appreciate the hard work that people do to get an education. I cringe when I hear people in the NLP and the hypnosis and the self-help world act like, someone that goes and gets a legitimate degree is a bad thing. But, you take all those, and I'm the only one of the few people non-badged or civilian, if you will, to go through the FBI crisis hostage negotiation course and some other government training and insights that give me a unique skill set. Now, what all that gives me is a unique way to bring this to the world to help other people. So that's why it's different. All that training experience and also breaking it down, right? And I'm ready to do it. I kind of disappeared for a couple years. I wasn't as ambitious. I was training my basic NLP people, having fun, traveling the world. But I need to get my message out there, to be honest with you, because if you don't have this course, your message dies with you, right? And you want your message out there. I want my message out there. That's why I'm doing this. And you can get started in about 30 minutes per week, right? I'm going to charge $39.97, $39.95 for this course, right? Then, of course, you always do a pre-launch discount. It was going to be $29.95. But I decided on this first round, it's going to be $19.95. Yes, it's a high target for 6 months to a year of mentoring. It's going to be a lot of time involved. You'll have access to my entire library. Whatever I think you need, you're going to get. If you don't have this class, you're going to get that class. You don't have this class, you're going to get that class. If you have this class, I'm probably going to ask you to review this class. You might have had a class somewhat like it, maybe from someone else. I'm going to give you my class and say, well, just watch mine, then watch theirs, and you're going to tell me what the difference is. I mean, this kind of thing. So you're going to have access to all that. And of course, the one-on-one mentoring once a week or every other week, depending on your schedule and my schedule, right? So it's time intensive, right? So a secret revealed. Without it, you stay stuck in your message. There's no impact on the world. People suffer. Those that you could help aren't getting that help. You're depressed. If I'm not helping people, I feel depressed, right? With it, people get help. They get the message. They get help. You thrive. Because many of us that listen to this kind of thing that want to do this thrive when other people thrive, right? It's a positive impact on you and the world. Not just your target, but it ripples out into their families and their communities. It's about a legacy. It's about a legacy, right? And it's about love, spreading that love. Everyone on this call has their unique, special talents, abilities, and skills. And again, the world doesn't need another Tony Robbins or Zig Ziglar or Deepak Chrora or me. It needs you getting your message out the same way they did so you can impact people. So what to do? You're going to email me, drwillhorton@gmail.com, to see if you qualify. I already turned 2 people down. Why? First of all, they weren't ready for what they needed to do. They weren't, one of them, well, actually 3. One just isn't ready to do the work. And the other 2, they're not ready yet. And one, he's too scattered. It's a guy. He's too scattered. He doesn't know what his message is yet. He doesn't even have I'm going to personally coach him on a pre-coaching thing to get him ready, right? So this is what, so not everybody gets accepted. Space is limited due to the one-on-one aspect. I'm probably going to do a lot of the coaching on Thursdays, Fridays, Mondays, Monday, Thursday, Friday. Right now it's probably going to be Monday and Thursday. And then, look at that, right? Because then space is limited because each call will be around 30 minutes, give or take. Plus you'll have homework, reading, and things to do to build you up to get you ready, right? If accepted and we and I agree, then you pay. After this round, the price will go up to the original fee, right? I'm going to get the original group growing, and then I'll take the next group, right? And I'm only going to do so many groups, right? Because I don't want to do this too often because it's going to be a complement to everything else that I do. So go ahead, hurry up and do it right now. Go to drwillhorton@gmail.com. And I wish you Godspeed because this has been a wonderful journey. As I said, I've gotten to do some amazing things in my life. I've been all over the world training NLP and teaching NLP and taking classes and doing this wonderful stuff. And then add in my martial arts and my theater and all this wonderful stuff that I've been a part of. And for everyone that listens to this, I'm truly thankful for who and what you are. And I want you to celebrate who you are and take that out to the world. So as we go forward, I wish you Godspeed. And everyone, have a great day.